Okay, so I realize I haven't really made a video about like CNA or nursing related things in quite a while, as far as like advice or, other than to say how my specific job is going in relation to me. So this video is kind of would I recommend to someone to become a CNA? I definitely think it depends on the person because I think that not everyone is cut out to be a CNA. Not everyone has what it takes to become a CNA. First of all, a lot of people might think that being a CNA is something that's super easy to do. Let me just like change your opinion on that because when you're a CNA, it takes a lot out of you, not just physically, because there is a lot of lifting of residents or patients. There's a lot to do as far as running around, especially in the area that I work in. I work in Alzheimer's, dementia, memory care. Um, so we have what is called wanderers. They like to wander up and down the hallways, in and out of other people's rooms. So you kind of have to be on your toes and watching them to make sure that they're not getting into things that they don't need to be, that could potentially harm them. You kind of have to be able to kind of chase them down, so to speak. Not in a violent way or anything like that, but you know what I mean. You have to be able to have patience. I think patience is the number one thing because a lot of people get really frustrated. I've noticed that at my job a lot. You definitely have to have patience, especially if you're dealing with the elderly, because a lot of them are set in their ways. They're used to doing things a certain way, and you might be used to doing things a completely opposite way. Um, or you were taught that things have to be done this way in your CNA training class, and they don't want to do it that way. They want to do it the way that they're used to doing it. So you kind of have to meet in the middle and compromise. And so you have to be patient with them because not everybody is going to be, super agreeable, especially when you're dealing with Alzheimer's dementia. Which a lot of CNAs work in long term care. It is a little bit more difficult to get a job in the hospital setting because those jobs go by just like that. Um, a lot of people apply for those jobs much more quickly than they do long-term care settings, especially for like memory care type of jobs, I've noticed. Although I really don't have a problem working in memory care. I love what I do. I have a passion for helping people who have Alzheimer's, but that's just because of my own personal experience. You guys know that my grandma had Alzheimer's, and so it's just really personal for me being able to help other people who have Alzheimer's is like if I would have been able to help my grandma when she had it. Um, so I just think that it just depends on the person. Like I said, you have to have patience. You have to be able to deal with the physical demands, which, like I said, it does take a toll on your back. You have to be able to transfer people from the bed to the wheelchair, from the wheelchair to the bed, from the bed to the shower chair. It's a whole lot, which you'll learn if you do end up going into like a CNA training class. They'll teach you all this stuff. But on my unit, we aren't allowed to use mechanical lifts because it is a dementia unit. We do not have any mechanical lifts on our unit. Um, because we have wanderers and things like that, and they could push the buttons, they could hurt themselves. So we do not have those types of things on our unit. So it is all up to us to transfer these people, which also means that people who are totally dependent, who need like a Hoyer lift or a sit to stand lift, they can't be on our unit, which makes things a little bit easier because you're not like lifting someone who is just complete dead weight. But there are people who are to assist who are heavy. Um, if they've been medicated, they kind of like they're not able to help you as much as if they weren't medicated. Sometimes I've noticed that. It's difficult. And not only is it tough on you physically, but it's also tough on you emotionally, mentally, because especially I've noticed like dealing with long-term care, especially with people who are on hospice, it's especially emotional because you know that this person's only going to be there for, a short time. Once they go on hospice, that usually means they only have a little bit of time left, and you're basically just waiting for them to go. Um, you're doing what you can to make them comfortable as they leave, or as they pass on, however you wish to term the word die. Um, so it is emotional because, in the long-term care side of things, not so much in the hospital because people come and go in the hospital. You can still have death and stuff in the hospital, don't get me wrong, but more on the long-term care side, you have a lot more death because, those are elderly usually. They have a lot more things wrong with them a lot of times because, they need that 24-hour care, which is why they're in a nursing facility to begin with. Um, but I guess it just depends on the person. Um, I think if you are a dedicated individual who actually cares about the elderly and this isn't just a paycheck to you, I would definitely recommend being a CNA, because a lot of people seem to think that CNAs get like a ton of money, and we really don't. I get paid $11 an hour to, be there and hold someone's hand while they're having a seizure. Um, be there and, talk to someone's family and try to comfort them while they feel like their loved one, like their mother, is dying. It's really hard. You have to be strong and try to hold everything together in order to be strong for the family so they can, try to hold everything together for their loved one. It's really hard. Um, I don't know. I would say, really, really think about whether or not you have what it takes to be a CNA before you just jump into it. I do feel, though, that if you are going to go into nursing, you should definitely get your CNA certification first because a CNA, um, having a CNA certification will give you a good glimpse into like what the nursing field is about. It's not necessarily nursing, but you are a nursing assistant. So you get to see, what nurses do. You get to interact with nurses and kind of see, how their day goes and things like that. So if you're looking to eventually become a nurse, I would definitely recommend becoming a CNA first. And honestly, I think that should be a prerequisite of any nursing program is to have any nursing student become a CNA first. But anyways, this video is long enough. I hope that, this answered anybody's question because I've had a couple of people ask me if I would recommend they become a CNA. But yeah, those are my thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.